Aaron, were you doing stuff first? Nice and fast.
Okay, we'll go ahead and get started. Today we're just showing a movie, and we'll also have some. We just have some stuff to talk about before our regular meeting stuff, like project announcements and other announcements. So first thing is we have our a project proposal, not our first project proposal, but an advertisement for another project that we're going to start. And so I'm proposing this project, so I'll be the project leader for it. And what it's going to be is a rigid body visualization. And then what it's going to be called is Solids Viz 1, because I plan to have more visualization features added on later, past rigid body visualization. So the gist of it is kind of like this figure. We're going to have objects in space, and they're going to move somehow, and we'll be able to visualize that. And it could be plates like this, or spheres, or whatever. If you can describe the geometry, we'll be able to like program it, and we'll get to look at it. So why do you want to do visualization? I guess that's the primary way of interpreting anything. So you can solve some sort of differential equation, and you'll get the output and a long list of numbers. But actually, being able to visualize it in space and time is very helpful and very good for convincing other people that your work is cool. So, and so that's like kind of like related to the rigid body, but also in terms of like finite element, you could look at the distribution of stresses at different points, or you could make like a nice heat map. And so like in terms of the grand scope of all the things I want to do with the visualization tool, this might be something we get to later, but the initial things that I think would be fun to work on are just like over on the right, where we maybe have some rigid bodies that we have do some motion. And so the way that I plan to do this is using two tools, one being Blender, which I know is used a lot for like in like video game, like indie video game, stuff like that. But then Blender also has a tie-in with Python where you can manipulate pretty much any data values that are initialized in Blender. And you can also initialize other values. So the plan is to develop a sort of standard input file that like our program would expect to receive. So we would develop that, and it like in terms of rigid bodies, it'd probably be like the shape definitions for the rigid bodies, their positions through time, and stuff like that. And then we would develop the Python script to process that data and then convert it to a suitable format to give the Blender. And then using Blender, we could generate nice animations like this solar system here. So like a little bit of more of how this is going to work. So this is a cube, say this is a cube in Blender. The way that this is represented in Blender is first on like the highest level, it's represented as an object, but then associated with the object there's a mesh, and then mesh has different vertices and faces and stuff like that. And so here's like a little snippet of what you expect to put in Python. All the things related to Blender, the Blender Python interfaces is under this bpy object. And so under that, you have the data, and then you can select your certain object, which is the cube, and then the data might be, I think there's different things associated with this object, but part of that is the mesh, and you can access the vertices coordinates, and you can change the coordinates. So you can imagine the sort of rigid body simulations or visualizations that we can make. And you can, program your camera angles and all these fun things. So yeah, this is essentially the idea of what the first part of the project is going to be. And I think I'm planning for this to take 2 months, a maximum. Maybe we'll get through it sooner. I think we will, because I have implemented something like this before. This was for a class project that I did where I was making a simulation tool for just rigid body kinematics. So I programmed this motion, this cube, and then I used Blender to visualize it. But the idea with this project is it's something like more generalized that we can use for simulation and extend it to make it more, I don't know, interesting later on. I think something that would be really cool is there's a new show that's come out based off of the books called the three-body problem, where essentially they're like trying to, this is like some astrophysics, I guess, where you're simulating a planet's orbit around three different suns, and it's like a really challenging problem for the civilization. And I think it'd be cool to like make a visualization of that by like solving a system of different equations. So maybe it would look something like this, but instead of it just being white dots, maybe it has like big balls of fire, and there's a little planet going by along. So these are just some examples of these are just, I guess, examples that we might include to test the like visualization tool. So that's it for the project proposal.
Jacob, want to, like, for the work that you're proposing,
Yeah.
is just like the graphics of moving rigid bodies in space, or because like some of the applications you showed will have some.
Yeah,
So that's out of scope of like what you're, it could be applied to doing that, what you're really just talking about, kind of getting one by from the other.
exactly, yeah. So yeah, I might generate separately some like, once we define the structure of the input file, I'll define separately, like maybe these examples of companies that we can use, but that would really, to like really develop the whole program for doing the in-body simulation or doing the kinematics. That would be a different.
Cool.
Yeah, so this is the last group meeting, or the, I guess, a club-wide meeting of the semester. But we'll have a meeting tomorrow to decide what our plans are for the summer. I'm hoping it'll be up to the 6 of the officers. I'm hoping to do some stuff during the summer. So be sure to check back in. This project being one of the things. But this project will be definitely going on over the summer. But as far as like meetings and stuff like that, we'll have to decide on that still. And then just want to let everyone know about our coffee hour again. We have this every Tuesday, and it's at M36 Roasters on Central Campus. There it is in the map. Coffee hour. Look for that sign. It's usually me in there, so you'll see me in there with that sign. If you want free coffee, we'll buy it for you. If you want to ask any questions about the club, that's also a good time for that too. Yeah, so that's it for our sort of introduction. Now we're going to we're showing a movie for the rest of the meeting. So if any of you guys have any questions or want to submit a project proposal like the visualization project I just showed, or if you want to host a workshop in the future or a presentation, those are the QR codes for that. Yeah.
I brought my laptop.
Cool.
With definitely legally acquired copy of the tape.
All right. Sounds good. Yeah, if you guys want to stay for the movie, you're more than welcome. But up to you.
Is there a particular source that to for the legally acquired copies, or is there
Oh yeah, don't go to the Pirate Bay.
pirate?
I can send you some.